Good afternoon. It's a great honor for Community Legal Services to host this event today, especially as a current serving member of the Florida Army National Guard and a 24-year service veteran. It's also a great day as an attorney. A cornerstone of our profession is service to the public, and I'm proud to stand with my colleagues from Legal Aid and the Department of Justice to announce this great resource for service members, veterans, and the organizations that serve them. There are two challenges in legal aid that we work and struggle with daily. The first is getting clients and partners who serve client basic needs to recognize that a client is struggling with a legal issue. Recognition that there is a legal issue is the first step towards seeking and obtaining resources that are necessary to navigate that issue. Every decision made by the client without assistance is like steering a ship through rocky waters, without a guide, without a map, and unaware of the catastrophic danger that surrounds them. If clients do not recognize they have a legal issue, their case could be over before it even starts. The second challenge is providing a resource to those in the justice gap. The justice gap is roughly 20% of Floridians that cannot afford an attorney and do not qualify for legal aid assistance. This group is typically one eviction, one creditor problem, or one other legal issue away from losing one of life's basic needs. Many of our disabled veterans fall into this category, especially at higher disability ratings, and especially if they make any other income outside of their VA pension. Today's event unveils a comprehensive resource that can be used by service members and veterans regardless of their income, and can be used by the organizations that help them to identify legal issues early and provide a bit of a roadmap to avoid catastrophic impact and injustice. So now it brings me great pleasure. I would like to introduce a partner, a mentor, and a friend, U.S. Attorney Roger Handberg. When Roger and his team initially reached out to me about this idea, I knew from day one that they truly wanted to help in a meaningful way. Under the community leadership of Roger Handberg and Tiffany Neck and the staff of the Department of Justice, an impressive number of organizations came together and with lightning speed produced this resource. Roger, as a veteran, I want to thank you and for your team's service to our country and to my fellow veterans and service members. And so without further ado, I give you U.S. Attorney of the Middle District, Roger Handberg.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate our friendship and the work that we've been able to do together, and I appreciate your leadership on this and all issues involving legal justice here in the Central Florida community. We're lucky to have you leading our community legal services. I'm also pleased to be joined by Joan Boes, who is the CEO of Bay Area Legal Aid in Tampa, and my colleague and friend Lynn Drysdale, who's a senior trial attorney with Jacksonville Area Legal Aid. As the United States Attorney for the Middle District of Florida, I have the privilege of serving as the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer for 35 counties in Florida. One of my responsibilities is ensuring that the rights of the men and women of our nation's armed forces and the veterans who have served in the past are safeguarded from discrimination and other unfair treatment. This is an obligation that my office takes seriously. Florida is home to over 66,000 active duty personnel, ranking at 5th in the country. Florida also has the third largest veteran population in the nation of approximately 1.4 million veterans. It is the duty of my office to ensure that the rights of each of these men and women are protected. Since 2017, my office has actively engaged in a federal program called the Servicemembers and Veterans Initiative. This initiative coordinates the efforts of various federal agencies to build a comprehensive legal support and protection network focused on serving service members, veterans, and their families. Enforcement of the law is a critical part of the Servicemembers and Veterans Initiative, and my office is actively engaged in investigating cases to seek relief for service members and veterans. For example, in September of this year, my office obtained a consent order against Morningstar Storage, which manages and operates a network of self-storage facilities in the southeastern United States. Under the consent order, Morningstar Storage agreed to pay $130,000 to resolve allegations that it violated the Service Members Civil Relief Act by failing to obtain court orders before auctioning the contents of at least 3 storage units owned by active duty service members. In another case, my office obtained an $80,000 settlement for a United States Army National Guard Staff Sergeant who was terminated from his employment when he returned from military service. The Uniformed Services Employment and Reemployment Rights Act, well, it protects the rights of uniformed service members to retain their civilian employment following absences due to their service to the military. And that act also provides that service members shall not be discriminated against because of their military obligations. And when my office finds such a violation, I can assure you that we will act to the full extent of the law to assist the service member, just as we did in the case involving the National Guard Staff Sergeant. But enforcement is just part of the work that my office does as part of the Service Members and Veterans Initiative. We also seek to share information, to identify service member and veteran needs, and to coordinate the distribution of resources. Across the state, there are many fine organizations that do this important work, but they often work independently of each other. I believe that we are stronger when we work together, and that it is critical that we combine the efforts to do the most we can for those who have served us through their service to the military and our country. And I'm not alone in thinking this. Last year, I announced the formation of a Service Members and Veterans Working Group for the Middle District of Florida. I did so with two primary goals in mind. The first was to establish and coordinate a network of local, state, and federal partners to provide comprehensive legal support and civil rights protections for service members, veterans, and their families. The second goal was to improve our outreach efforts to find those service members, veterans, and family members who may be in need of assistance, but who may think they have nowhere to turn. But they are not alone. The Service Members and Veterans Working Group is 20 members strong, and we are ready and willing to help. And I'm pleased today to announce that we are well on our way to achieving the goals that we have set as a group. Monday is Veterans Day. It is a day when we honor America's veterans for their service and for their sacrifice. And as we prepare to celebrate Veterans Day, I'm here to announce the publication of the Service Members and Veterans Working Group Manual. This manual is a comprehensive guide to the specific legal and issues facing the service member and veterans communities. The manual has separate chapters focused on the legal protections available to service members and veterans in the areas of housing, employment, consumer protection, disability rights, financial assistance, and mental health. The manual also serves as a one-stop shop, identifying organizations across the state that are focused on helping service members and veterans on these matters. I cannot thank our partners enough for the great work that they did in putting together this manual. This was a true team effort. The Service Members and Veterans Working Group includes members of state and federal military branches, state and federal agencies, and legal aid organizations. 3 of those partners are with me here today, and I've introduced them: Community Legal Services, Bay Area Legal Services, and Jacksonville Area Legal Services. And I also want to recognize the incredible efforts of 2 members of my office, Tiffany Cummings-Nick and Johanse Pettis, who've really done extraordinary work in working with everyone on this important initiative. But we have so many other wonderful partners, and they include the Florida National Guard, the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard, the Florida Attorney General's Office, the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, the Florida Commission on Human Relations, the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, the United States Department of Labor, Vets Office, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the University of Florida Levin College of Law, Veterans and Service Members Clinic, Lawyers Serving Warriors, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors or TAPS, and Counseling Services. Each of these organizations provided important contributions to the creation of the manual. They work together on subcommittees to draft separate chapters that are focused on the specific needs of the military community, on subjects such as housing, employment, consumer protection, disability rights, financial assistance, mental health, and outreach and training. Each subcommittee worked diligently to prepare a detailed chapter of the manual, which includes information on applicable legal protections, avenues for enforcement of those protections, and relevant resources to help assist with those matters. The manual is now available online through my office's website. The working group will continue to update the manual with additional information based on feedback from the military community and based on relevant changes to the law as they occur. I hope that this manual will be a valuable resource to service members, veterans, and their families. To all who have served in the military, I wish you a happy Veterans Day, and I thank you for your service. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my friend, Joan Boes.
Thank you, Roger. Bay Area Legal Services is honored to have served on the Service Members and Veterans Working Group alongside our committed and inspiring members. And I would like to thank Roger Handberg and the United States Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida for bringing us all together. Our goal was to create a comprehensive and accessible manual as to the legal rights and resources to address the unique issues and challenges faced by our service members and veterans. As you've heard, Florida has one of the largest populations of both service members and veterans, and we all want to assure their health, their safety, and their quality of life. This manual is a commitment to empowering those who serve and have served, and we thank them for their service, and happy Veterans Day. And now I'm going to turn it over to Lynn Drysdale from Jacksonville Area Legal Aid. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all our service members and veterans. We were honored to be a very small part of this incredibly talented group of motivated individuals who are working on the Service Members and Veterans Working Manual. We all owe an immense debt to our service members and veterans and their loved ones for all they have sacrificed for our freedom. This group of advocates worked tirelessly putting their respective pieces together even before the deadlines. Hurricanes couldn't even stop this group. It was a very impressive group to be a part of, but it was all because we felt the weight of this immense debt that we owed to our service members and our veterans. We hope the working manual will bring knowledge and comfort to each of the service members or veterans or their family members or loved ones who read it. We've worked hard in the past with members of the Judge Advocate General's Office, with Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, Mission United, the County Court Treatment Program, North Florida Women's Veterans, Disabled American Veterans, and many groups. And we just feel that these groups and the members of these groups are going to use this manual interactively. And we look forward to helping them through issues that we've worked with them before, such as payday loans, problems with their mortgages, and all of these high-cost products that sometimes seem to be targeted towards members of our military. We've been working with the Military Lending Act and some of the other protections that are in the manual, and look forward to continuing our work on the manual, and particularly working with the folks who are using the manual and hopefully finding it helpful in their quest. And we also want to wish everyone a very meaningful and Veterans Day, and want to give thanks for everything that all veterans and service members have and are doing. Thank you.